Good afternoon. My name's Anthony. I wanted to briefly go over the Barcelona versus Ibiza game. Now, I don't want to dwell too much on it, right? You have a Copa del Rey game, third division team playing against Barcelona. Youngsters need to be put in, understood. Veterans need to be rested. I completely get that, especially with the game coming up. But let's put this in perspective. If Barcelona loses this game, it's the second tournament they would be eliminated from in less than 2 weeks. Now, that would have been catastrophic. So, the game lined up. Quique Setien left 3 of the center parts for Barcelona at home. Piqué out of the back, Busquets in the middle, and Messi up top. One thing you have to understand when you go into these games is that the lower division teams, what they don't have in skill, they will make up for in fight. In fighting, they did. You need to know that. Everyone's got to go in with a tough mentality because you're going to get hit around. Another obstacle they had, you're playing on artificial turf. I don't know how many of you have played on artificial turf, but it is just completely different. The ball rolls different. You can't make as tight of cuts. Players who normally could burn somebody on a turn, it doesn't work that easy. Artificial turf is easier for defenders, in my opinion. It's easier because everything's a little slower, your cuts are a little slower, and so you can always get the jump on the offensive player. Quique Setien started the game as a 3-4-3. Not sure how I feel about that, but let's just say he was trying something different. Now, he started with Lenglet in the back. He's the center of the back. Then you have Roberto and Junior Firpo in the back, anchoring the ball, right? So you have one natural center back in the back. You had De Jong, Ricky Puig, Rakitic, Semedo, and Fati in the middle. I believe it's possible Ansu Fati was playing a forward. They were so bundled up, it was really hard to tell. Carlos Perez and Griezmann up top. Now, without spending too much time on Barcelona having issues, let's just be completely clear here. The first half was fairly ugly. The biggest concern I really saw was the fact that the 3 center backs had a huge gap between them and the midfield. And then the midfield all kind of bundled up as if they didn't know their responsibilities, as if they didn't know where to be, right? 9th minute, Perez for Ibiza scored a cross. Now, this ball was slowly rolled into the center at the top of the 18-yard box. Ricky Puig, unfortunately, maybe he wasn't aware of where the offensive player was coming from, but he kind of went soft to the ball. Perez just ran right in front of him, uncontested shot. Not great defending. He had his hands in the air when the ball was coming, almost like he didn't know he was going to be there. Can't have that. You can't have that. Ricky Puig is a good player, but all youngsters still have to learn the defensive responsibilities, field awareness. You just can't let a player run at the top of the 18 without knowing he's there. Another thing I noticed, Barcelona, they typically and traditionally play the ball across the goal, looking for players at the top of the 18, whether it's Messi, whether it's somebody coming in, Ivan Rakitic for a shot. In this case, the balls were flying to the 18-yard box, but nobody was there. It almost seemed like there was a ghost of Messi there, and they were hoping he was going to get the ball, but he wasn't there. Another thing I saw was that there was a lot of plays up top, a lot of slanting runs, and the first forward or the first offensive player for Barcelona to get the ball in the box, he would dummy it to somebody that wasn't there behind him. I feel like they were seeing players on runs, but the players were not ending up where they thought they would. This is to be expected with a lot of new players and a new team, especially with the new formation. There was a lot of plays that were left for someone to support that weren't necessarily going to get there, right? The shape in the middle, it was not great. It just wasn't. Also, they were down 1-0 from the beginning, from the 9th minute, right? Now, halftime, no changes. In the 60th minute, Neto was going up for a 50-50 ball, and an Ibiza player literally pushed Lenglet into Neto. Neto was almost hurt. I thought he was going to have to get subbed off. No penalty. No yellow card. Not even it wasn't even acknowledged. He literally threw him into his keeper. Not cool. Now, these division teams, they said they're going to go to war with Barcelona, and that's what they did. They went to war. So I would say that while the formation with 3 center backs. I'm not even sure exactly the formation. It kind of switched around. It looked a little bundled. While that was a little bit questionable, I do have to admit that Quique Setien did a great job of subbing. Honestly, he really did. He knew that the middle was not existent. The middle play, there was a gap between the defense and the midfield, as well as the midfield and forwards were all kind of jumbled in. Ibiza did a good job playing compact defense and hitting first and going to the ball with a lot of effort. And Barcelona struggled with the physicality, right? So in the 59th minute, Jordi Alba came in at a sacrifice of Carlos Perez. He wasn't able to get much going up top, but the problem wasn't up top. The problem was they were unable to get the ball to the forwards. So Jordi Alba essentially played a left midfield player for the majority of the game after that way, right? In the 68th minute, yes, I said 68th minute, Barcelona got its first shot. Creativity wasn't there until then. It was a lot of changes, and that new formation really seemed to cause some problems. Now, Barcelona's the youngsters were getting manhandled out there, especially Riqui Puig. They were throwing him around, bumping him on his head. So in the 71st minute, Arthur came in for Riqui Puig. Riqui Puig didn't have necessarily the best game, but I also feel like really midfielders are only successful depending on the options they have to dispense the ball, and everybody was jumbled together. They were. 72nd minute, Griezmann scored. Now, this is off a ball from De Jong. Barcelona likes to play left to right, and they like to play the ball down left to right. It wasn't working. I almost feel like it's possible Quique Setien had a new way of approaching it, and they started playing slot balls through the middle. Slot balls through the middle. We can't get it working another way. Let's send Griezmann up top. And he did. Perfect ball down the left side. De Jong played the ball. Griezmann controlled the ball, placed the ball right to the left. 1-1. You're thinking, good. At that point, Ibiza did not slow down on hitting people. Not at all. Arturo Vidal came in for Ivan Rakitic, which is a great physical presence. If you're getting hit all around, throw Arturo Vidal in. He'll take care of some of that. He'll take the pressure off, right? Ansu Fati was getting hit by the number 2 defender all over the place. Some blatant pushes and fouls and no cards. Even there was he had a play up top, threat to the goal, got thrown to the ground, no big deal. Then he's in the box, about to cross the ball to the right. The defender literally tackled him. No call, not a penalty. I'm not saying it needed to be a penalty just for the fact that the ball was going out of bounds anyway, but it was ridiculous, right? It was ridiculous. So, game's going over. You're thinking, oh no, man, it's almost the end of regulation. It's at the 90th minute. You're thinking Ibiza and Barcelona are going to go into extra time. That's not what Barcelona needs with the fixture coming up this weekend. But in the 93rd minute, Griezmann came through. Griezmann came through from a sub. Jordi Alba on the left side played a slot ball down the left side. Griezmann grabbed the ball, 2 players chasing him, and slotted it back door. It's great. I mean, this is what Griezmann does. There's no Messi and there's no Suarez. It was very similar to what he did at Atletico Madrid. When he's left to his devices with no support, he always made those long running attacks, and he was always able to complete it. He was always able to finish the ball. Griezmann saved the day. Honestly, he did. And Vidal came in, he did the physical side. Langley looked a little slow to be the anchor on a 3 center back formation. I'm not sure if Junior Firpo should have been the one chasing down the players or if it was Sergio Roberto, but it was always Langley chasing out to the corner to stop the ball. So I think there's a little bit of work that needs to be done in that formation if they decide to stick with it. I'm assuming this was maybe a test. We'll find out. Quique Setien did a great job with the subs. Barcelona stays in Copa del Rey, as there is not a second fixture. And with all that being said, Griezmann was the hero today. There are times when Barcelona would have lost this game, but they didn't. Great job.